The Shia, the main difference between the Shia and the Sunni Islam is that Shia um understanding of the Quran and the life of the Prophet, it is basically, it was born 200 years after the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It didn't exist at the time of the Prophet. It didn't exist at the time of the Sahaba. It didn't exist in the first century, even the second century of Islam. Shiaism, the 12-ver Shiaism as we know it today, was born at least 200 years after the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It has nothing to do with the Prophet. I'm claiming this. It has nothing to do with Ali bin Abi Talib. It has nothing to do with his sons Hassan and Hussein radiallahu anhuma. It has nothing to do with the children of Hassan and Hussein, including Imam Zainul Abidin, Imam Muhammad al-Baqir, Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq. Their teachings are not the teachings of Shia 12-ver religion. These are two different entities, two different worlds, two worlds apart. So we claim that Muhammad Rasulullah, Ali bin Abi Talib, Hassan, Hussein, Imam Zainul Abidin, Imam Muhammad al-Baqir, Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq, Imam Musa Kadhim, and the list goes on, were all Sunni figures. They were the leaders of Sunni Islam, not Shiaism. Okay? When the Shias claim today that they follow the true teachings of Islam, i.e. the Quran and the family of the Prophet, they say that you people, the Sunnis, follow a corrupted version of Islam which comes from the companions of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So because the companions to them were untrustworthy and they usurped the right of Ali bin Abi Talib to be the first successor of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they lost credibility because of that. They lost any authority over Muslims or Islam. Therefore, one cannot follow them and be misguided. One cannot follow them and not be misguided. So what is the alternative? The alternative is the way of the Ahlul Bayt, the family of the Prophet. People like me, researchers, students like myself, we ask the Shia fraternity this question: show us those teachings without any controversy, authentically traceable back to the Ahlul Bayt. We will be the first ones to follow them. You do not have them. Unfortunately, the people who attribute information to the Imams were mostly from Kufa. And there are figures that we can count on one hand who attributed information to the Imams. Imams like Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq, Imam Muhammad al-Baqir. They attribute information to them, and they claim that these teachings are the teachings of the Imams. But firstly, we cannot ascertain, or we cannot actually establish whether these people from Kufa even met the Imams, number one, because both of these Imams, Imam Muhammad al-Baqir, Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq, lived in Medina. And these narrators who narrate from them, or in their name, they were from Iraq, particularly Kufa, right? And there are four individuals in particular who are at the forefront in narrating from these two Imams in particular. Shiaism today, 12-ver Shiaism, actually is made of attributed teachings of two Imams, not Ali bin Abi Talib, not Hassan, Hussein, Zainul Abidin, radiallahu anhum ajma'in, not them, only two Imams, Imam Muhammad al-Baqir, Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq. And then even after those two Imams, the teachings from Imam Musa Kazim and other Imams who come afterwards are very, very limited, very few. So when our Shia brothers and sisters in humanity claim today that they are the followers of the family of the Prophet ﷺ, they are actually claiming, if you look at the teachings and the books of hadith, they are claiming to follow two Imams only. So they are not Ithna Ashariya, I call them Ithnainiya, not Ithna Ashariya. Ithna Ashariya means 12. They are 12ers. They follow 12 Imams. But for all practical reasons, they only follow attributed teachings to two Imams.
So 200 years later,
Yeah.
this Shi'ism came along.
Yeah. So people accumulated information mostly in the city of Kufa, the very city that was responsible for killing Imam Hussein radiallahu anh. Okay, of course, led by an Umayyad governor called Ubaidullah bin Ziyad, who was appointed there, a governor. Okay, but the people, the bulk of people who fought Hussein radiallahu anh and his family were from Kufa. The army of 5,000 people, where did it come from? Shia authorities confirmed this. People like Mullah Baqir Majlisi, he confirmed this, that the people who came to fight Hussein radiallahu anh, having invited him to the city of Kufa, were the people of Kufa, and they were called Shi'atu Ali. They were called Shi'atu Ali. They were called the Shias of Ali radiallahu anh. But they betrayed Hussein, and they killed him, and then they cried for him. And then later on, this religion called 12-verse Shi'ism was born in this very city, Kufa. This is where it was born, and it was a new religion. This was not the religion practiced by the Prophet, the Sahaba, including Ali, Hassan, Hussein, and the subsequent generations. They did not practice this religion. This is a challenge. They did not believe in this. They did not practice it. So all these erroneous ideas and beliefs and stories, long stories that came along are all a pack of lies. They're not true.
Wow.
So I don't want to confuse people. I don't want to confuse.
There's
There's a lot of detail there,
yeah.
right? To simplify, where we differ with Shias in our faith and our beliefs is that they have a different conception of the Quran, they have a different conception of the Sunnah, they have a different conception of the Ahlul Bayt to what we believe in completely.
And
it's a parallel religion.
Qadianis, they have a new. They
have
think
a
they have
new
a new
prophet.
prophet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. So how do these people gain so much prominence? Like, like surely people would think, okay, that doesn't add up. Or did they somehow cleanse history and they may? I mean, how do they still have
they
so
have
much
their own
power?
history. They have their own history. Shia history is very different to the history documented by Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah. Our history is scrutinized. Our history is questioned and sifted through, filtered in the sense that we have to separate lies from truth. We don't just believe anything anyone wrote. With the Shias, there are so many lies in the history, so many lies told by the people of Iraq in general and the people of Kufa in particular. Even look at the incident of Karbala. There are such lengthy anecdotes, such lengthy dialogues. Who was documenting them? My question is, who was writing this information? There is a war going on. There are arrows being shot, swords are flying around, spears are being thrown, stones and everything, and people are being killed. Who was actually standing there with a pen and a paper writing all this? All these dialogues between the Ahlul Bayt, the family of the Prophet, Hussein talking to his family and them responding, and then all of these details. When you actually scrutinize these reports in Shia books, you cannot find the origin. Sometimes there's no chain. You cannot find who actually came up with the story. No one knows. It's just documented.
So how do they gain so much? Is it shaitan aiding them, or what is it? Like, how can they be so popular?
In passion, in love, in hatred, you can make up stories. When you hate someone, you can make up stories, false stories. When you love someone excessively too much, again, you can make up stories. So it was a combination of love, hatred, dislike of the other, and all of this caused lies and stories to come up. And I'm not only accusing the Shia of doing this. This happened on the other side as well. I mean, there were many people attributing information to the Prophet ﷺ out of their love for the Prophet. Okay? But those turned out to be false attributions. And how we know that? Our muhaddithin, our historians, our collectors of information, people who collected information from the Prophet ﷺ or about the Prophet, they scrutinized every single word, let alone a sentence. Even if a word was dubious in a report, they would question it. This word, it didn't come from the chain I received, or from the information I received. This word is non-existent in the information that came to me, therefore it needs to be questioned. This is how they scrutinize the information attributed to the Prophet ﷺ. It is absolutely, utterly haram for a Muslim to believe information unless it can be fully ascertained to have come from the Prophet ﷺ.
If Prophet was alive today, surely
Sallallahu
we
Alaihi
wouldn't have had, you know, Shi'ism and
course.
Qadianism and say, you know, what everyone claims to be Ahl Sunnah wal Jamaat, like, you know, people that are Salafis, Hanafis, Hanbalis, Malikis, Shafis, like, you know. So where did, like, I know this is such a complex subject.
I don't accept that. I don't accept that rendition.
No?
I believe the Prophet is alive, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in his teachings. In his teachings, the Prophet is alive. If people don't accept his teachings, there's no guarantee they would accept him if he was standing in front of them, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I believe even today, if the Prophet was to come in person and stand in front of some of these people, Qadianis and some Shia, I'm not saying all Shia, and he told them, guess what? You have been mistaken. You have been wrong. Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Qadiani was a liar. He was not a prophet of God. And the Shia, you have made up all these lies out of your love for the Ahlul Bayt or out of your hatred for the Umayyads. Whatever the reason, these are all lies. Okay? Ali was upon the same Islam as was Abu Bakr and Umar and Uthman. Ali loved them. Ali gave his children these names, Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman. Ali gave his daughter to Umar in marriage. Ali married the widow of Abu Bakr, Asma bint Umais. Ali had relationships with these people you hate, right? You have been wrong. I believe some of these people will still reject him. They will say, you know what? You are not even Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. What we have learned from our elders and our predecessors is true. You are wrong. A'udhu billah. A'udhu billah. Okay? So the teachings are there. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his legacy is alive. The Prophet is with us. He's among us through his teachings. The Quran, number one, and his Sunnah, preserved in Sahih al-Bukhari, in Sahih Muslim, and other books of Hadith, right? And we have authenticated this information. We have no doubt, absolutely no doubt, that these reports can be traced back to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam with very short chains, with with 3, 4, 5 men in the chain. For example, when Bukhari attributes something to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he says, the Prophet said such and such, where is his authority? He tells us his teacher, Makki ibn Abi Ibrahim, taught him. Makki ibn Ibrahim's teacher, Yazid ibn Abi Ubaid, taught him. And his teacher, Salmat ibn al-Aqwa, taught him. And Salmat ibn al-Aqwa was a companion of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So Bukhari narrates on the authority of these men who can be traced back to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam generation after generation. So Bukhari's teacher is Makki ibn Ibrahim, his teacher was Yazid ibn Abi Ubaid, and his teacher was Salmat ibn al-Aqwa, and his teacher was Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So there are 3 people between Imam Bukhari and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So this is how we receive the information.
But